welcome to the Nurse Preceptor channel on YouTube. I'm Hillary and I am your Nurse Preceptor. I want to introduce myself in case you haven't seen any of my videos before. I've been a practicing registered nurse for over 20 years. I'm also a certified emergency nurse and a certified pediatric nurse practitioner. One of the things that is a passion of mine is teen acne and teen skincare. So I want to talk about the topic of teen acne today. And for any of you adults out there in the audience, you can use these same principles for adult acne as well. But I want to talk a lot about what causes acne, how to prevent acne, and care of the skin when you're actually suffering from acne or having a severe outbreak. Let's talk about prevention first. So one of the first things I'm going to recommend is do a dietary assessment and try to figure out what it is you're eating and drinking throughout the day. You have to drink a lot of water, okay? Water is one of the things that's going to help your body to filter out a lot of impurities. If you can flush them out through your urine, then your skin's not having to take on so much of that burden. Your skin is your biggest organ in your whole body, and it protects you from things that are outside, and it also keeps things from getting in, getting out that shouldn't. Second thing, dietary wise, besides the water, I'm going to say do a careful evaluation and try to figure out how much sugar you're taking in during the day. So look at things like the beverages that you're drinking. Are you drinking a lot of sweet tea, sweetened beverages, energy drinks, things like that? And if you are, try to replace those with water. And also look and see if you're taking in a lot of candy, cookies, cakes, brownies, things like that as snacks. I would immediately cut back by at least half. Try to eliminate those excess sugar sources from your diet. What sugar does is it causes your body to go into a hyperinflammatory state. So any acne that you do have brewing under your skin is going to appear worse. It's going to start getting red, puffy. It's going to look bad. Second of all is skincare. So basic washing. Make sure you're washing your hands a lot too, because if you happen to be someone who plays with your face during the day or puts makeup on, you want to make sure your hands are really, really clean. So hand washing is good for a lot of different things, but especially with avoiding transferring bacteria from your hands onto your face. Now, what causes acne is a buildup of bacteria inside the pores of the skin. So why is this worse when you are a teen or like an adolescent especially? Your oil glands are becoming much more active, so they're producing more oil. Well, that oil has to pump its way up through the pores of your skin to the outside of your skin. At the same time, your skin cells are really busy sloughing a lot, so you end up with an accumulation or a buildup of dead skin cells that can overlay the exits to the pores. Bacteria causes acne, and when bacteria get down into the cells of your skin and they're feeding on this oil that has a lot of nutrients in it, and it has no way of getting out through the pores because the pores are blocked by all this dead skin, then you have a problem, and the bacteria just start building up, and then you end up with redness and an inflamed, infected pore. And that would manifest itself or show itself as a pimple. And if it gets big, really big, it can be a boil, or even worse, it can turn into an abscess. Then you're probably looking at the potential for some scarring. So acne can have some serious long-term effects. So other than dietary interventions, what I really recommend is careful skincare, beginning with basic cleansing at least twice a day, with something that's gentle. How do you know if it's a good skincare product? You got to read the labels on the back, and you're going to look for the word non-comedogenic. Non-comedogenic means that it doesn't promote the clogging of your pores. Non-irritating is also very helpful. It means it doesn't have any harsh chemicals in there that are likely to cause your skin to become inflamed. What we're trying to cut down on is inflammation. So I don't have any affiliation with any of the products I'm showing. I just happen to have some of these around in my own cabinet at home. Here was another one that I have, CeraVe Daily Cleanser. Reading the ingredient label, you want to try to avoid products that have things like petroleum or extra oils. You really don't need to put that on skin that's already prone to breaking out, and they can also be very irritating to the skin. Take a clean washcloth every time you wash, and you want to make sure that you wash in the morning to wash off the residue from overnight, and again at night. Make sure you're taking all makeup off if you're wearing any makeup or concealer, and you want to just do a very gentle cleanse. Warm, not hot water. Gentle circular motion. You do not want to be scrubbing it like crazy. You can't scrub acne away. You can't use one of these brushes and scrub it away. It just doesn't work that way. All you're going to do is make it flare up and get more red. If you are using one of those facial brushes, use it on a low setting, use it only once every couple of days, and make sure that you are cleansing that brush with some peroxide or some alcohol in between uses, because otherwise you're putting bacteria right back on your face, and that's just not a healthy thing at all. So you want to cleanse really carefully and rinse thoroughly. If you are someone who's an athlete or you work out a lot, you want to make sure that you're also washing after you work out, because when you work out, your pores are pouring out a lot of sweat, and the sweat and the toxins from your sweat, like the excess salts, can also help to clog your pores and make them more irritable. So if you've tried non-medicated cleansers and they haven't really been effective to this point, what you may want to consider adding on is a medicated cleanser. The ingredient I look for in that is benzoyl peroxide. Benzoyl peroxide comes in a number of concentrations. I recommend starting with the 2.5% benzoyl peroxide. Benzoyl peroxide can be very drying to the skin. It can cause you to crack or to slough or to have peeling, especially when you're first using it. So start with once a day. Use a non-medicated cleanser for the other time during the day when you're washing. If you're finding that that's really not helpful, try it twice a day. And if twice a day still isn't clearing it up after a couple weeks, what you want to do is start increasing the amount that you're using. And by the amount, I mean the amount of active ingredient in your product. Go from 2.5% up to 5%. Give it a couple weeks. If it's not working, and if you're not having any ill effects from it, like if your skin's not too dry, then go up to the 10%. But 10% is as high as it gets over the counter. And at that point, when I used that as a teen, I was really red and really dry. And again, that makes the acne appear much worse. So the second ingredient I would recommend adding on is salicylic acid. So again, you have to learn to read the backs of the ingredients, but when it says active ingredient, look for salicylic acid. You can use it along with benzoyl peroxide. But salicylic acid is something that you would leave on the skin, and it has a little bit of it's an acid, so it has a drying effect on the skin, and it also helps to promote turnover of those cells that are sloughing off. So, excuse me, it will make the sloughed cells kind of peel away. It can be a little bit drying, but the 0.9% is a pretty low concentration. And if you're using it in the form of a moisturizer, then you're going to be preventing that peeling from happening. So I really recommend looking for a product kind of like this. Again, no brand loyalty here, but this happens to just be one that's pretty good. It doesn't have any excess oils in it. And I would recommend using that at night after your final wash, and let it sit overnight on the skin and try to work its magic. Try it twice a day if once a day is not working for you. The next thing I would consider adding on as spot treatment is Differin gel. And this, I think it's the only brand available over the counter at this point for adapalene. But adapalene works very similarly to the old Retin-A that a lot of us use. Retin-A's by prescription only, but Differin is kind of like its first cousin. And what it helps to do is to promote sloughing, so it will help to turn over the cells that are blocking pores, and it will dramatically reduce some of the swelling that's present when acne is really flaring up. So what I recommend doing with Differin gel is only use it on the areas that are problem areas actively. So if you have some little blackheads or flare-ups or little bumps on the skin, I would just use a little bit of that on those areas. I want to emphasize that using a whole bunch of product on one spot is not going to help. It doesn't work that way. And what I would do with the Differin gel is use it very sparingly. It is kind of expensive, but it is over the counter, so you can self-treat. And if you're having a couple days where you're really not having any active outbreaks and everything seems to be under pretty good control, you can skip it. You don't have to use it every single day. If all of those measures have failed, the next step that I would recommend is get yourself into your primary care or pediatrician and see if you can get a recommendation for a dermatologist, because dermatologists have other things in their arsenal that are not available over the counter. They have some things that work extremely well. So, keep that in mind if all else has failed. But also remember, acne is kind of like an infectious disease, and it's also kind of like an inflammatory disease together. And it doesn't It's not going to cure itself overnight. Just be really patient. Keep in mind that stress is going to increase inflammation in your body, so it's going to tend to make your acne worse if you're having an outbreak. So try really hard to relax. Try not to stress too much about acne. It does get better with time and with some of these interventions. But these are some things you can do proactively at home to try to fight acne as a teen. And if you're an adult having some acne outbreaks, the same principles apply. One other thing I would recommend, try to get enough sleep, get a balanced diet. All of the usual self-care activities are going to be helpful in terms of promoting your body's overall health. And if you can promote your immune system to do what it's supposed to do, then it will also be effective in helping to fight acne. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know, and we will talk more later. Thanks for tuning into the Nurse Preceptor channel. It's been my pleasure to serve you today. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.